This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Back, Manny Navarro in Blacksburg, ready to join us after the Canes, I guess, hung on for a 20-14 win. Manny, is that what we call it? They hung on for the win.
Hung on for dear life, pretty much. I mean, that was not the kind of finish that you wanted after a 20-0 start to this game. But it shows you again that what kind of team this is. You know, I think they're a 6-6, 7-5 football team right now.
You know, Manny, I was talking about this after the game because at the beginning of the game, you know, I bet the over 46.5, and I'm thinking, okay, this is a game where they get on track and the offense plays well, and you know, Virginia Tech's offense is not that good, so this could be one of those games where you can blow them out and all that, and then you see the score and you see the game and you see 16 penalties for 144 yards, all these kind of things. And really, the conclusion for me for this team this year is this is a team that what you saw is what you're going to get. They're going to battle, they're going to scratch and claw, and it's going to be a mission no matter what game they play, no matter who they play, because they're just not good enough to really blow almost anybody out overall. They're a team that's just got to fight in every game just to stay alive or possibly win it.
Yeah, and I think mentally, you know, it's one of those things where I think there's just they're not the kind of team that can survive a lot of injuries, right? I mean, Zion Nelson's played in 2 games this year. That offensive line just hasn't looked right all year, and you know, it's easy to just sort of say, oh, forget it. You know, you got other guys that are going to step in, but no, I mean, there's just not a lot of great offensive linemen on this team, and I really felt like after the Texas A&M game, being physical, it's almost like their bodies, they're not willing to do it. And you know, guys are beat up. Ja'Kai Clark made the trip, but he's beat up. He was basically here in an emergency type role. Justice Oluwaseun didn't make the trip. Henry Parrish has been dealing with stuff. His body's beat up. So, you know, you're not going to be at your best without several key players. And that's the thing. This Miami team isn't deep, right? I mean, we knew that coming in. And there's certain positions where clearly the additions that Mario made through the transfer portal, and Akeem Mesidor, a Colby Young, you could see right off the bat, these guys are like their best players, and they just got here. So what does that tell you about what Mario inherited, right? So to me, it is what it is. They were a 7-5 team last year. They're probably the same team this year.
Yeah, that's what it seems like to me, Mikey.
So, Manny, thanks for joining us, man. Nice backdrop there you got going on.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm reaching at straws, and I think I am, but I want to get your opinion. Maybe it was brought up in the post game. Mallory takes a hit. We don't see him in the second half. He was clutch, making some nice catches and everything like that. Did that have anything at all to do with Miami's disappearance offensively in the second half? Because after the first half, it looked like they were going to eclipse 30.
Yeah, I definitely think so, because, you know, that was one thing that team to do against Virginia Tech was really take advantage that they can't cover the tight end, and they were giving big plays to tight ends. Now you got
It's breaking up on them.
Connection still?
Yeah, we're having some connection issues there. We're having some connection issues. Wait a minute, are you back?
I'm back.
Okay, go ahead. Okay, start the answer again.
My answer is that, you know, the tight ends had been taking advantage of Virginia Tech's defense for several weeks. It wasn't just Miami. Pittsburgh did it a couple of weeks ago. Last week, you know, same thing. I just think, you know, Miami came into this game with a solid game plan. And the moment Will Mallory went out, you had to count on a true freshman to kind of do the things that he was doing. You saw Skinner drop the ball right over the middle that Mallory would have had. And I think overall, you know, again, you know, you got to give Virginia Tech's defense credit. They were able to put pressure. They were taking advantage of a very mediocre offensive line. And so that's why things fizzled out in the second half.
Injuries, what do we know, my brother? Mallory, some of the other guys that got banged up, what do you know? And by the way, Mallory made a couple of catches in traffic that were just absolutely just star-studded catches, man. I
Yeah.
was really happy for the kid, but he got banged up. So what do you got for us?
Well, I asked Cristobal after the game how bad it was, and he doesn't seem to think it's serious for Will. Said the same thing about the other guys who exited today. You know, how honest is Mario honestly being about injuries anymore? I don't know. Okay, we were told Tyreek Stevenson was going to be fine. He didn't say anything about Henry Parrish missing this game. So look, I covered Butch Davis when he was here. Butch
But,
wasn't
Butch
very
Davis would
truthful.
lie to his
Yeah.
mom. But Butch Davis would
Okay.
lie to his mom. I mean, that's not a good example there. I mean, at the late great Mad Dog, as he would say, I wouldn't trust Butch Davis if his tongue was notarized.
Yeah. Well, right then and there, that you said it all. So we really don't know how banged up this team is. I didn't get a chance to see Will leaving the locker room, but
Hey,
I'm
don't
gonna
feel
take
bad.
Mario's word for it.
Mike McDaniel, by the way, told us that Byron Jones was going to be ready and everything was going well and all that. And here we are 6 weeks later, the season's in,
Yeah.
and no Byron Jones. So they're all Pinocchios, bro, at this time when it comes
Yep.
to injuries.
Yep.
Well, at least that's, and you're right. Give Virginia Tech credit because they do what they had to do. But at least we know that Mallory had at least a little bit to do, especially with that probably being the game plan coming in, knowing Virginia Tech's, defense had a hard time covering tight ends coming into the game. But still, did any mention about the lack of balance and running game? Because I don't have the stat in front of me, but Miami didn't even, I think, 93 yards on the ground.
Yeah, it was
Miami
bad.
registered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, again, 2 weeks in a row. Is it one of those things that they, like last week, they saw what was working, they decided to ride with it, or was Virginia Tech bottling it up?
Didn't get a chance to ask Mario too many questions. A lot of media, local media here and so forth. I think I got in my question about the health of Mallory, which I thought was a priority, just to
Yeah.
see his reaction, and then to ask about Colby Young, who obviously had a great game. So unfortunately, not enough opportunities to ask questions about specific game plans and why they didn't run the ball much at all in the fourth quarter. But look, they got the win. They did what they had to do.
Yeah.
I think it's obvious. They've basically abandoned the running game because they can't run. And it's just one of those deals where you ride what you can ride. Mario's trying to win games with the best players he has, and I think right now you just got to assume that they don't have a whole lot of confidence in the horses that they brought with them.
Hell, they couldn't have any confidence in the passing game in the second half either, brother. I mean, God, they shut them down too. They didn't really put up any points in the second half. That was
I mean it's but again, this is what happens when you're playing with Mario was happy to mention to us how he was missing two starting running backs. He was missing what's it called? Three starting receivers, three offensive linemen. Like he brought all that up. He was very prepared to inform us that there were key guys out for him today after the game. So
yeah, but we could argue that the receivers that are playing now are better than the ones that are out anyway. So I don't know.
That's true. That's true. Look, I'll say this. So again, I think the problem is we all believed, based on the 5-1 finish last year, that this team was going to be good enough to win the division this year because the Coastal wasn't that great, and maybe they could have if they would have had Colby Young playing earlier against North Carolina. But it's the same team. It's the same level of talent. You have added a Colby Young, you've added an Akeem Mesidor, and you've added a Henry Parrish, essentially. Those are the three big additions to this roster so far. Everything else has been the same group of guys.
Go ahead, Mikey. What do you got?
No, nothing. You're right. I mean, now the attention turns to Duke, who they are playing a team that Miami probably played good enough to win, depending on who you ask. But Mike Elko coach team, going to be a well-coached team. Mike Elko likes to run the ball.
Yep.
Duke is not bad running the ball. Miami's not bad defending the run. So I think it's going to be a matchup of two strengths. And health is going to be a huge issue going into that game. And I'm just hoping to see more balance from Miami. But if it's not, it sucks to be predictable.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I think this is it. This is the team you're going to get the rest of the season. Because even when you get guys back, assuming you get guys back, I mean, you've seen them when they've been healthy. What's the difference? Right? They still couldn't really run the ball.
Right.
So, look, this is what it is. Like, if you're a Miami fan, and I get it, you're disappointed. You wanted Mario to come in here. You think he's going to squeeze more juice out of this out of this orange, but he can only squeeze so much. And think about this, all right, for the people criticizing Mario right now. What if he didn't get Colby Young and Akeem Mesidor and Henry Parrish? Where would
Oh
this
my
team be
God.
now?
I don't even want to hear that, bro. Don't even, no.
It makes too much sense, all right? I mean,
No,
that's all
I
I'm
know.
doing
Yeah.
is spewing sense here.
Well, listen, dude. When you're wrong, right? And like I said at the beginning of this game, I thought, okay, this is the game that okay, you can blow them out and comfortable. And then by the end of the game, I'm going, you know what? I'm an idiot. This team is what they are, bro. It's just going to be pulling teeth for them every week. They're just not good enough, smart enough, whatever it is. But I give them credit at least. At least they're playing hard. At least I'm not watching guys, give up at the moment or anything like that. But it's just it's such a flawed team. And you made the point of that of this entire interview. You look at the guys that are playing now. These are the guys that Mario just brought in, and these are your better players. That tells you all you need to know. It also tells you that a lot of the rankings the last couple of years really suck too.
Oh, I've been saying it for a long time that, and
Yes.
people in Miami get pissed off at me when I say this. Miami-Dade and Broward County is very overhyped. Outside of the elite kids, the elite kids, okay, the guys that are top 100 recruits, the majority of the kids that leave South Florida and go to Power 5 schools don't have success. And I don't know if it's because they're not prepared correctly. Just go and look. I've done the research myself over the years and written stories on it. So have others. So has Gabby. Gabby's written this in the past. I just think they're very overhyped, and unfortunately, you get these high expectations for these kids, and then they don't deliver. Which is why I think it's a good thing that Mario's recruiting class, the first real recruiting class that he's putting together, has a lot of variety, kids from all over the country. I mean, look, Akeem Mesidor is your best defensive player. They got him out of West Virginia. He's originally from Canada. Okay, he's not a South Florida kid. Colby Young, he's from New York. Okay, they got him out of Lackawanna Junior College. Tyler Van Dyke's from Connecticut.
They play football in New York?
Exactly.
Yeah, Binghamton, New York, brother. Okay,
Wow. Binghamton. Don't they play just basketball over there?
That's what he was doing most of his life, playing basketball.
Oh, okay. That would
then,
make sense.
And then somebody said, "Son, your jumper's not good enough. Come out here and play receiver for us."
Mm-hmm.
So, look, man, the bottom line is, like, Miami had one guy drafted last year. One guy. Like, what are we doing here?
By the way, the guy that rushed for 300 yards against Vatek last week, you know where he's from?
South Florida?
Brooklyn, New York.
Brooklyn. Look at that.
Okay. All right. Just a little Israel Abenakanda or whatever the hell that guy's name is. The dude's from Brooklyn, New York.
Just like Stephen McGuire back in the day.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow. McGuire was from Brooklyn?
Yes.
I did not know that. That's pretty
Yep,
good.
I remember that.
By the way, Hurricane 24Q on the text is asking you, Manny, if he thinks the body language on the team changed in the second half.
Well, I did think they got a little bit tight, right? Like, I think it was pretty easy to tell when they lost.
I think they got down because they got like they were starting to get stopped all the time now, and it wasn't the second half wasn't as easy. Probably they got humbled a little bit, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I think there was a little bit of, hey, we're missing a few key guys. We're getting all these penalties. The momentum is picking up for the other guys. So there was a little bit of tightness. But in the end, look at the guys who made the big plays for them. It's the guys that aren't scared of the moment, that are probably NFL caliber type players. So, look, they're just going to have to ride Tyler and hope that him and Colby Young can make beautiful music together the rest of the year.
I just got one thing to make all of this, maybe for you, because we talked about it before you got on. Michigan, Penn State. We all know who runs the defense at Penn State.
Yeah.
418 yards on the ground for Michigan. Two running backs for Michigan ran over 200. They both had 2 touchdowns. They both had runs of 60 yards. So
you mean he faced a real offense?
There you go. So
yeah, one without Josh Gaddis.
Damn.
Maybe. Yeah.
But I mean, I don't have nothing else for you, Manny. Miami They did what they were supposed to do. Ugly, whatever. They got the win. Hopefully it translates. And so we'll see next week, man.
What are you
Yes.
working on there, Manny? Tell us.
Well, I'll do my takeaways from today's game, which I think it's going to harp quite a bit on the guys who are making plays for Miami now, and that maybe we should take this as a positive sign that at least the guys Mario's bringing in are helping him win.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Eventually, it's you and I talked about this earlier in the week. When I'm watching that kid for the Dolphins that we got from Oregon, I also think you need to see that. I think you need to see the Javon Holland type of character in that locker room, and then
Mm-hmm.
that's going to change because then Manny will have guys that will be policing the locker room also for him and the rest of the coaches. And I don't listen, back in the day, these guys used to party and they were crazy and all that kind of stuff, but those guys were disciplined enough to police themselves to be great. And that's something that's lost in this program now. They don't have enough leaders that are going to check everybody and demand from everybody because until you develop great leaders, those leaders can't go and demand more from others. And that's like a combination you just don't have in that locker room right now, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think certainly the leadership from the players, and then I would just say in general, like the talent level. It's just there's certain guys that are just not, shouldn't be playing at the great old Miami. Like how many of the guys on this roster right now would play for the 2001 Hurricanes? Ask yourself that question.
Mesidor, I don't know. Kobe, I haven't seen enough of him, but he's
TBD.
TVD. Yeah, definitely. TVD for sure. For
Mallory
sure.
would probably be the third tight end behind Winslow and Shockey, right?
Yeah. He's
Okay.
good, but yeah, you've had better tight ends. You're right.
How many offensive linemen even see the field?
Maybe Jalen Rivers. Not
I-
starting.
I-
Not starting.
I like Parrish as a backup.
I like Parrish.
Who do you start on defense besides Mesidor? Who can you put in there on defense?
Nobody.
Oh no.
I haven't seen
that 11 is fixed. Oh god.
DJ Ivy all day, says Sean. Okay. All right.
No, that 11 is fixed, and maybe James Williams with backing up.
But we
I
haven't
don't
seen
know.
enough of James Williams either. He's like a freakish talent and all that stuff.
Right.
But we still haven't seen enough.
We haven't seen him pop enough.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? But you're right. I mean, he's the intriguing one that you say, wow, look at physically. He's already on the all runway team. The question is, can the plane take off? And and Mesidor looks like he's taken off. But I don't know, that's a good one. Yeah, there's not a lot, man. There's not a lot of guys. I mean,
That's my argument to everybody who says they should be doing better.
Right, exactly. Because at one point or another, Michael Barrow was your backup before he became the stud and the starter. You know what I'm saying? And so that kind of happens throughout that entire roster back in the day, that the great players were backups before they became starters.
But you still saw things out of them because they were in blowouts or they were in on special teams, and you said, "Oh my God, look at the hit this guy made."
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen. You're right about that. All right, Manny. Safe travels, my friend. Thank you as always. We will catch up on Tuesday night, man.
Yes.
For the Gridiron Roundtable. Appreciate you.
All right, guys. Take care.
You got it. There you go. Manny Navarro and our Caneswear Miami Hurricanes post-game report.
If you're